Today we're going to look at some lists and look at lists more, but also importantly, how we can change lists. So let's make up a class list, and I'll call it C list. And this is going to be my class list, and I'm going to put some people in there. And I think 4 names is good for right now. Now, let's say that I want to change something. We can change the list, and there's a couple of ways to do it. Let's say that Scott prefers to be called Scotty. Well, let's see. Scott would be 0, 1. That would be the indexed at element 1. It's the second thing, but it's the number 1 position. I guess is the best way to say that. And I can change that. All I have to do is say go to position 1 and change that to Scotty. I guess a Y is the way to spell it. Now, if I print that out, you'll see that it changed it. Now, there's 2 really important what are called methods. And the reason we can use these, and this is important, lists are changeable, but the better way to say it is lists are mutable. That's an important word. Note that I put it in capital letters. They're mutable. They can be mutated, like the X-Men mutants, that kind of thing. We can change them, or, bacteria mutate and things like that. So what I can do is, let's say Sue leaves the class. I can say remove Sue. Now, I could have also removed like element 1, but it's just as easy to do it this way. So that's the remove method. Now when I print out class list, you'll see that Sue's no longer in there. Now, where might you do this when you think about we use CSIU? Well, kids come and go in Dallas all the time. People move out of the district. People move into the district. So we need, and I don't know if they use Python, but whatever computer programming language they use, it uses some kind of remove method if somebody moves out of the district, and it uses another method if somebody comes in. And that method is called append. When you append something, you add it on the end, or the appendix in a book is added to the end of the book. So let's say I get another student, Big Tom. So I said clist.append Big Tom. And you actually don't need an equal sign here, because when you're doing a method on something, you're making a change, but you're not reassigning the whole list. So for lists, we don't have to do clist equals this. It's a little tricky thing, but that's just the way it is. Now, a nicer way to write this, if we really want to see it, I just want to remind you. So for names in CList, print name. I guess I should have called it names, but we'll say print names. And it runs. Now, that's not a program. That's just a little program snippet that I wrote here. But you can see you can play around with things like that just to test things in the shell. So let's write a program for today. So this program creates a class list using append. So let's see what we're going to do. We're going to create a blank class list, and we called it CList before, so let's just call it CList again. You can't just call it list. Now watch what happens. If I just try to call it list, you see how it's in purple? Purple means that's a reserved word. Purple means idle is telling us, no, don't do that. I need that word for my own stuff. And same thing with class. Do you see how it's in orange the way define is? It's saying, no, you can't do that. I need class for my behind-the-scenes stuff. So we're creating this blank class list. And that's what's going to happen with the scheduling. All these courses, Physics 1, Physics 2, Biology, they're all blank right now as we're doing the scheduling. Now I'm going to ask for I in range of 5. So I'm going to pretend that there are 5 people in this class. And later on, you're going to write a program where you're going to decide how many people. So let's say get name, or let's just say name, equals input, enter a student. And I say it over and over, but it's a good idea to put that space after where you ask. It just makes it so much easier for the user to use. Then I'm going to say CList, take my class list, append, put that person in the class. And this will do this 5 times. Remember, it always does what's tabbed over 5 times so that we can put that in there. Now let's print. Oh, and I wanted, I don't think, it says a new line. Maybe we better do it. Make sure we have a new line there. Your class list is. Then we'll say for student in class list, in CList, print student. So that's not all that long of a program. It's about a 10-liner. So we get a name, we append it. We get another name, we append it. Then we have another for loop down here where we print it out. And if I did it right, it'll work. And we'll see. Oops, syntax error. Okay. Now, as you're following along with me, maybe you can tell me what I did wrong. I didn't put that in brackets. Or, in parentheses. I don't think I need that space there. Now, if you want to check it before you run it, just to remind you, you can always go to check module. Now, see, it didn't throw an error there. It didn't throw it until I ran it. So sometimes the check module doesn't always catch things. All right, so we'll enter some students, and I'm not going to get too creative here. I'll just go with the names that I was using before. All right, so there's my class list.